show, and now we're transitioning right into the meeting. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. It's so great to see everyone in the room. We weren't sure if everybody, I know some districts have started back yesterday, some today. So we want to welcome you back. We wish you a wonderful new year as we kick off our ILC meeting today. For those of you that are in the room and online joining us, you should receive an email from me this morning at 7:50 with the slides, Google Meet link, and the edits from the discussion. So just make sure that you before you can access the slides by the link on the screen. For our meeting today, we have some special guests joining us. We have folks from the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. Sarah Music will be joining us. The Canton or the Akron Canton Builds will be here with Beaver Excavating Company and the Museum of Art. You should have received an article on your way in this morning. We're going to have a time later on for you to have district discussion. And if you're here without friends from your district, you'll just have a conversation with those people that are close beside you. So we'll talk about that later on. We have some updates from our curriculum team this morning, and we're very glad that you're able to join us. Our attendance link is on the screen with the QR code if you need that, as well as, again, the link for the slides. Next up, I want to just check we're a little bit ahead of schedule. We have some guests that are going to be joining us. Do we have Joe or Samantha on the line right now? Or Amanda and Eric, I think they were coming in the room. Okay, very good. So we're going to go ahead and just skip ahead right now to math updates. So I'm going to turn it over to Kristen Lamont.
All right. You need to stand up for a minute and stretch, take a deep breath, shake off all that other stuff. I don't know, that was kind of heavy stuff. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to follow that. But please feel free to stand up, stretch, because from one exciting topic to the next, we're going to talk about math. Nobody is jumping up and down. I thought at least my friend Brian was here.
Certainly still.
I was a high school math teacher. I'm like, yeah, kids at 7:15 ready to go. All right. Anyway. Happy 2024, everybody. We have some exciting things in 2024 that are coming around math, and we are super excited about our Mathapalooza coming in June. Could not be more excited about this. We have, if you remember our talk about ACE, our elementary ACE is really focused on the work of Jennifer Bay Williams, who is a professor out of Louisville, Kentucky. And our secondary ACEs have been focused around the work of Pam Harris, who is from the Texas area, and she is also an educator at teaches at a college. But they're both coming in person to Stark County, Ohio in June. So we're super excited. Jennifer Bay Williams is coming on June 11th. She is a one-day only. She is going to do two different sessions. The morning session will be centered around addition, and then subtraction is how it relates to addition. And then in the afternoon, she's going to talk about multiplication. So if you would please share this with your elementary teachers, they would probably be very interested. We were originally going to do like a K2 and a 3-5, but we thought maybe some of the 3-5 people would be interested in both. So we didn't want to limit it as like you couldn't go to one or the other or both. So those are the topics. She's going to talk about fluency, her foundational derived facts, also how to assess, and then interventions that make sense. So please make sure that your elementary math teachers know about that. And then go ahead.
For the Focus on Fluency book that we've used as our anchor text that all of your ACE members have and a lot of your principals have purchased, and it's really getting some traction here in the county. She is the author of that text. So excited that she will be here in person, talking about her books, but also lots of content.
And she is one of the kindest
Yeah.
people you will ever meet. I'm a big fan. So,
She's very sweet.
all right. And then Pam will be here for both days because she is going to do full day sessions. June 11th will be her high school session. And so obviously there will be a lunch, but she'll be doing all day with high school teachers. And then June 12th is for middle school. So again, if you have like 8th grade teachers or 7th grade teachers that teach a little bit of both, they can attend both days. It will be different content, although her structure is probably similar and some of her instructional routines will be the same. She will have different focus for each one. So we are super, super excited. What we're asking you to do is share this flyer. I'm hoping the link in the notes works. It is a PNG file. It's not a PDF. So you should be able to just send that on to your staff. There is a QR code on here and there's also a bit.ly for them to register. We would like them to pre-register so we have an idea of how many are coming. Thank you to North Canton for providing us the space this year to host HICE. So we've been over there. We think we have some good spaces to hold these sessions. And if you're by registering early, your teacher, this is just a pre-registration to let us know that they're thinking of coming. When it's actually time to register for HICE, they will have priority registration. So they make sure they get in and get those sessions that they want to attend first.
So what I hear you saying is if they fill out that registration, that does not mean that they are registered. This
No.
will be you're going to get the pre-registration information before it goes out to the general public.
That is correct. Thank you for clarifying, because we just want a basic idea of how many are coming. Just because we need to start now, and then they will get a follow-up email from Matt or Brian, or Stark County ESC. I'm not sure what address it's going to come from. That will say, okay, now it's time to register for HICE, but this will let us know that they're thinking they want to come and give them a first shot at getting registered. Questions on our Mathapalooza?
Is there a fee?
Nope.
No,
Okay, sorry if I missed that. I'm
So
sorry.
I did not say that because I never say that because all our stuff's always free. So, but thank you for asking. Yeah.
Is the link on the bit.ly active, or am I just, it could completely be me?
QR code is.
I said the link should be too. If you click the image in the slide, it should take you to this.
Oh, you have to go to slideshow, like throw it.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
You have
You have to actually.
The link-
you
the
said
link-
play on slideshow.
Thank you.
The QR code.
Okay. I was like, oh no. not again.
And also say, we're really fortunate, because we're coming into the end of our grant, that we received. And so the work that we've been doing to try to build and advance the capacity of learning that's going on back in district, we feel like this is a really great opportunity. We've got those district capacity teams running. We've got ACE teachers up, running. We've got a lot of great traction in those educator networks. And we feel like this is just another great opportunity, to really kind of push that, math work forward.
And both of these presenters are super engaging and phenomenal. I could sit and, well, we do sit and listen to them all the time, but it's not a hard listen. They're actually awesome. So, so please forward this to anybody. We will be sharing it with all of our math networks. So they will all be seeing it, and we're going to ask them to pass it along too. So we're hoping to get some good feedback from that, and just a lot of people coming because we are so excited about it. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so next up. Yep, there you go.
I hit the button too many
Yeah,
times.
you get-
You let's just go back for
Yeah.
it.
there's a- I hate
Right,
that.
one more. One more. There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
All right, there we go. All right, so if you're not familiar with Kevin Dykema, he is the president of the National Council of Teacher of Mathematics. And Chris and I recently had the opportunity to chat with him and meet him. And he's also very casual and laid back and loves math. And so I'm like, hey, worst thing that can happen is he'll say no. I'm like, do you ever just pop into meetings and chat with folks? And he's like, I love to do that. So I'm like, well, we have 2 meetings coming up. one in January and one in February, two different audiences. Would you be willing to talk to us a little bit about Productive Struggle, which is the title of one of the books that he most recently published, along with another one of our favorite guys, John San Giovanni. And those are the pillars of the book, those 6 ideas. And he said yes. So on January 18th, your middle school, high school lead educators will get the opportunity to hear from Kevin speaking about Productive Struggle. And then on February 8th, the elementary teachers will have that same opportunity. He is going to come into us virtually for those meetings, 15, 20 minutes to just kind of talk a little bit about NCTM, but also to talk about his book. And that is the topic that Chris and I were moving to next. It's perfect timing.
Stars kind of aligned because we've been talking about the 8 effective teaching practices, and one of them is promote productive struggle. And that was on our agenda for these meetings, and we're like,
why not let him talk about it since he wrote the book? So it's kind of exciting that he will be joining us. So if you, if that's something you would like to hear also, please pop in and join us on those dates.
those meetings are in person. Our lead educator networks, we don't do virtual, so.
Are you gonna record at least that portion of what he's doing or
I
not?
did not ask him to do that,
So
so.
we can ask and see, but
The only reason it's sometimes difficult for me to get people to go to a meeting, so, but I think the information will be so valuable. It might be nice to hear it in a TBT time. I mean, to demand that they listen. Or encourage in a very.
so we're super excited about it.
So Kevin will be virtual with us on those 2 dates.
Yes, also very, like Levon said, very personable. I'm like,
Yeah.
all these math people, you think stuffy. Y'all have a wrong impression about me.
I sent him an email and I was like, these are the dates, this is the time for, because it's after school, it's like between 4:30 and 5 on January 18th. He's like, sure. I'll do both sessions. I want to do both, not just one. And I'm like, oh, okay. So strange.
Did y'all see Trish's comment? I don't think that was for us. I think that for those of you in children's offering double contact hours. So just for those of you. Okay. And for our middle school, high school lead educator meeting, this is a change. Most of our lead educator meetings are on Thursdays. This one's a Wednesday because of a date conflict. But Pam is going to join us virtually on that date. She is going to do an hour with us. So that is for the middle school, high school lead educator meeting. These are the books that we've used with our ACEs. She has a podcast, which if you have not taken a chance to kind of look at it, it's called Math is Figure Outable Podcast. It has some really, really good stuff in there, and they're very short. They're usually 15 to 20 minutes, if not shorter. So if you're interested in that, she has this development of mathematical reasoning, and she goes through how it develops in some kids. If they're in high school, middle school and high school, they should be here and they might be stuck back here. And which is why teachers are having problems with kids understanding where they're going. So she's going to do a 1-hour quick session with us, hopefully leading in up some excitement about coming in June. So she is going to join us on Wednesday, March 20th.
That's virtual also.
That is virtual also, yeah. So, but she'll be with us about an hour. And we can ask her about recording too. She records tons of stuff. Like her website is full of recordings, but I don't know if she likes to control what she records or if she would be okay with us. So we'll ask that to remind us to put that down for Friday when we talk. All right.
All right, so yeah, more math. If you've seen, if you've checked your emails and or if you're get the math updates, ODEW is offering a series of professional learning, starting actually like next week or the week after. These are 1-hour sessions, 3:30 to 4:30. They will run all the way through the end of April. They're going to happen pretty much, twice a month. And you do have to register. And if you are registered, you will get the link. So if you can't attend live, they will send you the link. And this is kind of, it's been a while since the math of ODEW has put out some math professional learning. And so they're going to kind of hit it hard. They're going to go through the basics about the book, the 5 practices for mathematics expected. That's all about discourse. And then language routines is going to be the last 4. So we have the links here for you to register. Chris and I will be attending, so you can pass that information along, but again, we'll be
The
promoting
link
at our
at the bottom will
networks.
take you to ODE's site if you want to read more about it. This is also the email from the department is going to go out to everyone later today. We have it set to go out, so they'll receive that. But if you just kind of want to make sure you're passing it along. One other thing, as math educators, we tend to look a lot at patterns and trends. Anybody notice anything about these webinar series? Well, they are on Wednesdays, yeah. Title, anybody notice anything?
Language.
Discourse and language, discourse and language. Joe, I don't know if that sounds familiar to you. We've been talking about discourse and language for going on 3 years now. So, if any of you are doing curriculum adoptions or you have any coming up and you're worried about what happened with ELA, where they're kind of said, here's what you can choose from. We are not hearing that about math. We have had conversations with people at the department in math who have also not heard anything about that. So if you're worried, we don't see any of that coming down the pike, but who knows? But if you're looking at series, there's a big push right now on language and discourse. So if that helps you with making some connections, that's just something to at least consider.
And Anna, this kind of plays off of what you already mentioned. Perhaps you want to have people register so that they can utilize that in a PLC or
That last night.
TBC. Yep, perfect.
I registered.
Yep.
But I will say, I will somewhat disagree with that last statement, only in the fact that when I attended BASA, the Jessica, I think her name was, who was in for the superintendent position, said that Ohio is running down the course of math, just like they did at ELA. So although they're not saying that they're having a list, I would be very cautious yet, just because I feel like they want to be the forefront runners in this too. So just, I don't know, there's just a little bit of.
I'm just saying, relaying what we've heard.
Right, and
In
so-
talking to the math consultants at ODEW, at the department, they have not heard anything, but you might check your watch as of
Well,
today,
actually,
8:49 a.m.
If you looked at BASA's update too, they already did have out there, the mention of intervention for math and that there will be,
Yes.
selections made. So, and that was all the way to the high school. So it's coming.
So, but hopefully you start to see, I think this is the route they're going, but.
If I could just add too, because I know a couple of our districts have some sheltered math classes, high school math classes with all English learners. I would highly recommend that those teachers in particular attend these, especially the math language routines. Since there's going to be a focus on language in those courses and how to talk around math. and
There are
build those
8 language
skills.
routines that they're going to hit, so they're going to do 2 of them in each of those series, and one is like clearer and clearer each time. One is 3 reads, which we've talked about before, but it really is helping with language with students who maybe English is not their first language, and also students who have or struggle with language.
So even if it's not a sheltered class, it's going to be helpful for English learners in the class as well.
Lastly, math pathways. Surprise, the deadline has been extended. I know it said like December something originally, and they have now extended it to January 31st. So if you are thinking about applying for any of those pilots for next year, deadline is extended. And Levon got an interesting email this morning. I know when the department sends them out, they go out in chunks, and some people get them at different times, but if you want to just mention quickly.
There's going to be a meeting and I can send that out, coming up, for the data.
Data science
Data science.
and one other one
Yeah.
for people who want a little bit more information about 2 specific ones. It's not all 4, it's just 2 of them. That's math. You can all jump up and down. Yay, math. But we're super excited about the
Please share the
contacts that we have.
flyer and get some pre-registration going because we really do need to get a sense of Pam and Jennifer. They're coming a long way to do.
Any questions?
I don't think people are excited.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Diane to provide gifted updates. If she would. Not a lot new. We'll see the Andy McNair flyer, and it'll be on the next slide, but if you want to link to it, that is on February 22nd. We have 40 people registered currently. We'd like a few more. Just remember, you do get PD funds from the state, so you can use that to send people to that PD session. Gifted rule updates. I don't have many updates on the update. If you were at the CD meeting in December, you remember they took us back to the current gifted rule, and that's what we were to comment on. Those comments were due on December 22nd. They were to be working on them, and they are supposedly the new draft will be out around January 9th. We never seem to know ahead of time, so we'll watch for that. If I hear of it, I will send that out. The other thing, just quickly, our gifted educator meeting, we're not calling it the teacher anymore. In the past, I had sort of done a reading, math, and alternated. This one will be more, and from now on, they will be more general gifted information. So if you have high school science, middle school social studies that need those gifted hours, we will be just doing general gifted information. So just thinking that you might need some of those 3 hours as of right now, it's 3 hours. Some of those people that need that continuing gifted hours. So that's all I have. Okay, thank you.
And do you want to show the flyer? I'll show your slide.
There we go. Thank you. The link is on there. There's a QR code and a bit.ly link to register.
And I have to say, last year when Diane hosted the gifted conference, it was wonderful to see so many teachers there, and just the feedback that as people were coming in, they were excited to have that opportunity. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to take advantage of Andy, and it kind of aligns with everything we're talking about with math too. The struggle is real, will be the topic. So Diane, thank you for all your work with that. We're going to turn it over now to Dana.
Okay, so this is the annual time for Alto Alpha, WALPA. Our window opens up at the end of the month. So if you have new teachers who are new to administering those tests, there will be an open free Q&A with David Brower and Paula Mahaley from Office of Assessment at ODW. And that link where it says Ohio TESOL Q&A, that's a link to register. So if you have new folks administering that test, you may want them to register. It's going to be kind of an informal Q&A session for that. And then also just a reminder that the Alto Alpha is K through 12, because typically this is for the kids with significant cognitive disabilities. And so it's easy 3 through 12. It's already in their IEP that they may be on an alternative assessment, not as easy in the K2 area. So if you want to look at some participation guidelines, who may be included in that, you can amend the IEPs. That links are there. And also those are links to the OALPA and Alto Alpha websites as well. And just a reminder that tomorrow is the last day to apply for EL accommodations for the ACT this year. They pretty much just get extra time and use of a word-to-word bilingual dictionary, but you do have to submit that and prove that they are an EL. So they have parent notifications that you can send home in different languages to share the fact that they are an EL with the company, third party outside of the school district. But you can also just check a box that you've made a phone call to the parent. So you don't, if you have trouble getting paperwork back, that might be an option as well. So that's due tomorrow. So you may want to remind high school staff, whoever, or testing coordinators, whoever does that piece of it. And then Each year, Carol Swick and I through SST9 have been offering a learning series on English learners and students with disabilities. And that is beginning in January this year. So we have 4 different dates. The first date coming up, we have Dr. Milena Barbanova, who is a bilingual school psychologist. She's an EL coordinator for Mason City Schools down in the Cincinnati area, and she's the current president of Ohio TESOL. And she is a wealth of information and has a lot of great stuff. And she's going to be talking about ELs in the MTSS system. And we also have questions. So we're taking questions. If you have questions you want to submit to her in advance, there's a link to that. And then the link to the flyer where you can register. You don't have to attend all 4. You can attend 1 or any combination. For those districts who have partnered with Kent State with their local lab dyslexia screening, that last date, 3/20, we're going to need a team from each of those districts. That is going to be, that's going to be the professional development that was part of the partnership. But all other districts are welcome to attend that too. So we have Dr. Katie Durant with us in February and March, and then we have a team in March talking about how you put all this information together in determining whether an English learner has a disability, disaggregating that language piece for it. So that's a link to that flyer. And then the last thing is I've been spending a lot of time with high school counselors recently. I don't know why this year, I think because we've had a big influx in all of our districts with kids new to the US entering at the high school level. So with that is all kinds of complications in meeting the graduation requirements, trying to look at the transcripts and then read the transcripts, determine how to assign credit for what they've taken in their own country, and then trying to fit in the 4 years of English and the 4 years of math and everything else that's required. So this is a collaborative meeting that we're having on the 31st. No registrations necessary. I recommend bringing a high school counselor, some of the TESOL staff, high school administration, maybe CDs. Whoever you determine needs to be there. And just to be clear, this is not a sit and get. It's more of a collaborative discussion because it's ultimately local decision of what kind of credits you award from the transcripts or lack of transcripts. And then fitting in all the graduation requirements within the course offerings that you have. And sometimes getting really creative about what that looks like. So this is going to be more of a collaborative discussion, thinking about some of those nuances and what we can do to make sure these kids are on track for graduation and we're honoring the skills and assets and courses that they are bringing with us. So no registration needed. It's not a sit and get. I will be offering it hybrid, but I'm not really publicizing that right now because that's kind of hard to have those discussions because I want districts to share with some of the things that they have come up with to meet this. And this is particularly challenging for our students with interrupted formal education who are coming to us at 17, but maybe with an elementary education. And we have a large population of those students. So they may be way behind in their foundational math skills, have no English skills or experience with the English language yet. And so really trying to catch them up as well as meeting the rigor and demand of our high school requirements. So that I recommend bringing a team and I'll have the room until noon. So if your team wants to stay and discuss and really each district should have something in writing of the procedures and protocols that you are going to follow. And so we'll kind of walk through and look at a couple examples of protocols that you can put in writing in place so that it's consistent, particularly if you have different counselors by different grade levels or by alphabet or whatever. So all your counselors on the same page and you're looking at a kid from Guatemala and a kid from Ukraine the same way in making some of those decisions and everything as far as transfer of credits and all of those pieces. So that's more of a collaborative discussion, not a sit and get. I do not have all the answers, but I am really good at brainstorming and collaborating with each of you to figure out something that works within your system in your school. So those are just some updates. Thank you.
And one thing I wanted to point out on Dana's slide, if you notice, she has the icons of who needs this information probably back in your district. So she mentioned some things regarding testing, special education, your counselors and English learners. And I think that's just trying to make it a little bit more helpful for you as you think about what information needs to go and to whom it needs to go to. We are thrilled that we have our community partners here joining us from the Canton Museum of Art. At this time, I'd like to welcome Amanda Crow and Erica Emerson. Let's give them a round of applause, please. All right, we're going to segue into an opportunity for you to have a discussion with those people that are here from your district. So on the way in today, you should have received an article from Education Week. And it is also linked, if you'd rather just read the PDF, maybe it's also linked on this slide as well. It's an article that we're going to take a little bit of time to read, and then we'd like you to consider questions from these different perspectives. So as you're reading, we'd like you to think about from your own role or perspective, what was noteworthy. So as you think about your role as either curriculum, gifted, assistant superintendent, what was most noteworthy in the article? What do you want or need to consider from a district perspective? And then what do you think you want to share with building leaders? So we're going to give you some time. If you don't have someone here from your district, just find a friend close by that you could just have a conversation with. And we're going to give you some time just to discuss the article. When you're finished reading, just look over to your friends to check and see when they're ready to discuss, and we'll provide that space for you to have that conversation with your. On the PDF, if you are interested in the PDF, it's linked on the top of the slide. So if you are interested in sharing them with other people back in your district, feel free to do so. We want to give you the time and the space to have this conversation and appreciate the professionalism. So we're going to go ahead and shift, I believe, into science.
Good morning and welcome back. Just a couple things with our Herbert W. Hoover Foundation grant, some updates for that. This year, our first speaker, usually it's February, but she's here in January. Keiko Wilkins will be here. And the foundation had asked us if we would consider partnering with the Canton Palace Theater. We're bringing these speakers up and then having like an open to the public meeting this year. And so we are doing that. Our first one will be January 16th with Keiko. She will practice it 2 times in the morning and the afternoon as at schools in the district. She'll be here 3 days and she'll be doing 7 presentations at our schools. And then 1 at the Palace in the evening that's open to the public. And by open to the public, we do mean, hey, if you want to bring kids, great, because we're really looking forward to her. She is very, very interesting. There's our flyer for it. I can get it out. I'm also going to hit our lead educator groups. I've sent it out to the universities. We're trying to publicize it as much as we can. But Keiko and her t-shirt says it all. It says, girls just want to have fun for scientific research. But she is originally from the Columbus area in Ohio. We're finding out a lot of marine biologists come from the Midwest. Don't know why, but look outside today, I guess.
They want to get out of the Midwest.
That's right. I said,
Gray skies.
But she is actually studying the effects of microplastics and the chemicals involved with those microplastics on coral reefs. And she is based out of, get ready again, University of Hawaii. So she is there, But another big part of her whole message is she is very passionate about serving as a role model for underserved students. So that is some of the things she's going to talk about, her career path with the kids, talk about her research, but that's a big part of it. I think if you have a chance to get out there and see her, it'll be great. I'm going to be pushing this with our lead educators as well. This is going out with them. And so we've got her coming, and we're really looking forward to the Palace Theater event. If you've ever done some of the library ones with them, they're awesome. So this is our first shot at doing something like that, which is really great. Matt designed, and Tom and I we have a banner now that we have for our Herbert W. Hoover speaker series that we're going to take around to our schools as well as we use it. But she's, like I said, she's really going to be, I really think it's going to be a great program. It's probably going to be about 40 to 45 minutes at the schools, and then a little question and answer period. And she's going to follow the same format at the Palace, but it'll be at the Palace. The doors open at 5:30 on January 16th, and she will start the program at 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, and she's already booked for all the classroom slots, right?
Yeah, she's already,
She's booked for for
Yeah.
those in the districts that have reached out to Dale.
Yeah.
We filled all those slots, so that's pretty exciting also.
and with any of ours, if I tell the teachers this all the time, if we're bringing some of these speakers in and they want to do a little larger group, that's fantastic. They do. I mean, we walked in last year at Marlington High School expecting to talk to the sophomore class, and we had the whole school there. And it was like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go. And actually, it was fantastic. Afterwards, we had a hard time getting out because the kids were just so excited. And it really was a really good experience for everybody last year when we did this. And then our other one real quickly is we, as part of it, we're working with the University of Georgia. And this year, we've worked with them before. And it's basically was students were doing cleanups, and whatever they were picking up around their areas, they were tallying it. So if you picked up a plastic water bottle or, a Pepsi can or whatever you picked up, they tallied everything they got. It went to a site. Any researcher, it's just an open one. Anybody could get to it. And University of Georgia did some things with that. This year, we're building off that a little bit. And what we're going to do is have a series of webinars, and there are going to be the main topics are scientific method, data analysis, and scientific communication. So we do have a lot of math and language arts involved in that as well. And what's really great about it, we don't have everything totally ironed out, or we don't have the dates yet. I've got to work with them in the next couple of weeks. But Matt, can you go to the Stark County webinar ideas real quickly?
This is the most interesting piece of it is, it's all interesting, but the topics that they're coming up with, including one about using mushrooms to eat plastic. I know some may get excited with the mushroom use. So that one, and I know our office was pretty.
Yeah, and every one of them, what they have is their speaker, their background, the topics they're going to speak about, the key takeaways, and then some of the extension activities. So in the scientific method, they're going to write your own questions around plastic. How would you design an experiment? And my hope for it originally, what's hard about these grants is we really don't hear about if our funding is approved until after school has started in August, well, usually September. And so by the time we get everything rolling, because originally we had this idea, we'll get them ready for State Science Fair and State Science Day. And wasn't gonna fly with the turnaround time. But what we can do with this is take a look at it, maybe get the kids going on some of these, think of a topic, and then, hey, let's look at next year. So these will fit really well for everything 6 to 12. And that's that thing, we've got some ideas. And so next year, when start talking about the science folks start talking about state science fair, some of these kids might have already started doing some research. They have things ready to roll. We're really looking forward to that. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I will get this out to the, lead educators as well. Some of the districts, I'm not sure, I don't know that we have representatives for all. So a lot of times I include the curriculum director. So if you see that and you know that you guys really don't have a representative, please let us know and we'll go from there. Okay. And I think I'm turning over to language arts.
Morning, everybody. Or maybe, yeah, it's still morning, I guess. We have, I guess, updates that are, I don't know.
We're going to follow Diane's lead and give you updates of non-updates from the.
Gonna do that real quick, careful. So we sent an email out, last month, I think, about the timeline for high quality instructional materials. So we should be seeing that initial approved list published sometime here in January. And then from the department, as of yesterday, we inquired about the 412 dyslexia modules. Here's what we know. The facilitator guides are currently receiving edits, like I think today. They're reviewing the edits. So I think that means that the modules are done, but we don't know that for sure. So there's no definitive date on the release of the modules, but just remember that those modules need to be completed by your 412 IS by September 15th of 2025.
Yeah. And if those follow the pattern from K3, be thinking about what you might expect from your intervention specialist regarding online completion. What are you going to need in regard to facilitation alongside that? And then following the suit of not having definitive dates yet, other than when we're required to have it done, would be the science of reading professional learning. And this is for everyone, including administrators, K-12, unless they've completed something that's going to be approved, such as we think letters. We're waiting to hear on some of that. But they are attending, their staff is attending the facilitator trainings at the end of January. And if that follows suit also with kind of the form of the other modules, the facilitators will come through SST and ESCs as well. And then that's going to be offered throughout the spring. And that training has to be completed next year too. So we put this out here, even though we don't have answers, we want to keep it on your radar as you're thinking about your professional development and some of your release days and things next year as well. I know you're going to be looking at your calendar coming up soon.
They choose to do the reading of science, right? They won't have to do the 412 dyslexia modules.
They have not committed. Yeah, they've not committed to answering that.
Yeah.
We would anticipate
Just
just,
anticipate that if they did one, that it would count.
Someone
but-
had shared with me that if you did the dyslexia modules, there may be a few modules in the science of reading that you will have to add.
on top. We're still kicking that around a little bit, but it would make sense. They haven't committed yet.
Interesting. It's interesting that phones do first. Prior to, right? Am I reading that right? 6:30 versus 9:50. Yeah.
So we're treating it all as though it has to be done next year.
So it all has to be done by 6:30. Yes.
I wouldn't leave anything to chance at the beginning of the year because you all know how that goes.
It's team because you don't have the other one.
You know how your office goes. Yep. Absolutely.
So if we have IS go through the K3 modules, like our K3 IS, that all got handled through that.
Is this something? And what if we had our 4-5 IS do that? I guess I don't know that that first set of modules was ever delineated K3 when it first started.
I would have to go back in the learning management system, but I think it was. And so these ones are for your 412 and so.
They may not have made it clear when it was initially released, but I know everything we received after that had it on there.
Yeah, I'd have to double check that to be sure with you, but it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to say it out loud again, Michelle, I just want to make sure I'm hearing what you're saying. If the district, if we had teachers doing the K3 modules for dyslexia, we think they're, in addition to that, they might need to do the science of reading, or we're pretty sure they might, in addition to that dyslexia, we should be budgeting for the science of reading modules.
I've been told possibly a portion of it. They're tossing.
Do we have any sense of the hours? You know, like the K3 was 18 hours. Do we have any sense of the hours involved in these?
It's looking like 412 is going to be similar to the 18.
What about the other?
Science of reading, super non-committal.
We don't know.
It has to be more because they're willing to pay.
Yeah, I would think that you're not gonna see it be.
Exactly.
That's what I'm predicting. Yeah.
And we're required to do the science of reading in addition to.
Who's required to do the science of reading? Is it?
Everybody.
Everyone,
Including
including
K-12. All
No,
K-12.
everybody.
Oh, no, 412, you're looking at your intervention specialists.
Okay.
Science of reading is every.
All K-12 teachers.
And administrators.
Okay. But we have heard that they're gonna say, like, if they've received or if they've completed these trainings, there might be a caveat there. We just don't know what that looks like. Yeah, K-12 teachers.
I heard somebody say, what about bus drivers? Like,
All K-12 teachers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, try, go ahead.
Right. So as you're thinking through,
But we don't know the number of hours.
Yeah.
we don't, but as you're thinking through, depending on what that looks like, I want you to think about your secondary teachers. We have not had a lot of conversation about the science of reading.
And
They're
the
gonna
way,
need some facilitation and support.
There's
No problem with that. It's the K3 again. I mean, we just keep whomping on these teachers, K3. That's the part I'm struggling with. You know, I know. It's not.
No.
I was just trying
I'd
to.
be shocked if they.
But didn't they,
I would.
for the science of reading as well, I'm trying to remember, did they delineate for like, elective teachers? Like our PE teachers?
K-3,
No,
For the dyslexia.
for the
Science of reading?
I'm trying to remember too.
The delineation that I remember seeing in House Bill 33 was the stipend information, was the financial
I
information.
saw that too, but I can't remember if they're requiring electives. That's the part I don't remember.
I haven't seen anything or.
I haven't
don't
seen them
remember
excused yet.
seeing Any, yeah. They did that with the K-3, obviously, like, remember it started
Yeah.
as all, and then they came back and said, well, not your specials. But I haven't seen anything for the science of reading clearly delineated at this point.
I know, you guys love when your literacy consultants get up to update you with non-updates, I can tell.
We just, I mean, I
It
know,
was gonna be
it is kind of a joke because we're like, we're giving updates on non-updates, but we also want you to know, like, as soon as we hear something, we're not gonna sit on it, we're gonna push it out to you.
We're keeping it on our
We're
radar and we
trying.
want you to do the same because we know it's January. You're gonna be planning.
That answered your question.
What's real nice is that I've had probably 70 people go through letters in my district who are not gonna get paid for it. But the math teacher who's gonna go now do this is gonna get a nice fat stipend. That is what is going to go really well with our teachers. They're gonna be so pleased.
I personally think that they would love to hear from you. Maybe you can call your contact from the phys ed department.
That's a meeting. Trust me, I tell them right to their faces.
Yeah, you're phys ed.
I have to agree with her on that one.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting $1,200 to do this training and all of our K-3 and all these teachers have done this for years and getting nothing. That, to me, that's a crying shame. If I can prove that they did the training, pay them, just like pay somebody else.
There's a $1,200 one and what, 400?
400 for like the math.
Content specialist, right? I think
Yeah,
some
that's
of you
for
would
like
be-
your math or something. Your
Yeah.
English teachers are getting like $1,200 in high school.
400 for each teacher who teaches a subject area other than English language arts
Yeah.
in grades 6 through 12.
Yep. Boy, we're gonna have a really great time explaining that.
Have they done the math?
Which is why we're giving you plenty of time to prepare.
Summer picture.
So we have to do it. All right, 6:12. Yeah, look at Janelle running. She's like,
I'm
here,
done.
take it. Make it secondary, go. Take it. All right, Christy gave a great update at the CD meeting regarding regarding the work that we're doing with the folks that you recommended for the ACE network. And we are now at the point where we're ready to come out and start seeing them in classrooms, and we're excited about that. Christy, what are you excited about saying?
Well, here's what I'm going to share. As I read this article on the back, it talked about all hands on deck. And I can say for me, it really hit home about what ACE is about. And when it says, while school and district leaders can adjust their approach to professional development and be more intentional about offering feedback and supporting teachers, that's what we're doing. We're out there coaching, we're giving feedback to those teachers, we're watching their videos, and now we have the exciting part about being in the classroom with them, giving them feedback, watching their strategies. It is really exciting. So we'll be doing that February and March.
We have given them some options of the strategies that we've explored this year, and they get to tell us what we're coming to see. We're taking the look fors that we've crafted with them and gone over with them, but they're going to be showing us things about explicit vocabulary instruction, about deconstruction for text comprehension, and possibly some structural analysis as well. So we're looking forward. We will see you out and about, but we're looking forward to getting in with your teachers.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I just have a couple reminders, a couple scattershot things for you in the world of educational technology. At our most recent CD meeting, I mentioned a vendor session that was coming up again with that Spark hat on. This is ASU Prep Digital. We have a date and time set for that, so look for an email from me coming up for that. So this would be digital academy directors, curriculum directors, anyone else kind of involved in that space. It's going to be January 30th at 1 p.m. It will be virtual. I'll have it recorded in case you're interested in checking out the recording or sharing. Again, really cool, innovative platform, and they'll be there to share with us. Another Spark event that's happening that may be of interest to you is actually happening in this room tomorrow at 9 a.m. We are going to welcome Dawn Shimon from Nawaka, and she's going to talk a little bit about student data privacy and building up that dashboard for your district. Really important work. So if you are going to send your network manager, that's great. If you are in that curriculum position or someone in the curriculum office, if they would also like to attend, that would be wonderful. The two of you can work together. Remember, this is educational technology. It's not just the hardware behind the scenes. This piece is really, really important in showing that crossover. So we'd love to you attend that as well. Something that doesn't necessarily involve school, but it kind of all boils down to school. Something that your parents might be talking about that has come across your desk is this Parental Notification by Social Media Operators Act. It was passed in July, and it is about to take effect here on January 15th. Basically, this is the idea that any individual who is under the age of 16 needs to have parental consent in order to jump onto a social media platform in the state of Ohio. So think of all the social media platforms. They have not limited the term operators to just the ones that you're thinking of. There, obviously, we know that there are many that pop up, that our kids take hold of and then they start running with it. But essentially, the idea is that those operators, those social media platforms, have to notify parents when a student or when an individual who is under 16 is trying to register for that platform. So I wanted to include there for you, how the state is defining what an operator is, a social media operator. The reason why I'm bringing it up here in this meeting is, the other nerds that I talked to throughout the state, we're kind of keeping an eye on this in terms of, like Google Workspace, right? Because from my perspective, the things that are available to Google or to students through Google right now, I could probably find little pieces and parts that could fit all four of these. So, DDW has not passed along any guidance. We're hoping that that comes along. So I don't think you have to do anything with this right now. But again, this is something that is happening or should be happening at home that I know is probably going to trickle into schools. And because I'm a realist and I try to keep it real with you, there are going to be ways around this for our kids. So even though it says that they need that parental notification, a kid just signs onto their parent's device, they click the box that says, yeah, I give permission to my student, and then they are all of a sudden on TikTok at age 13 or whatever it is. So there's always going to be a way around it. But at least there is something in place to try and help our kids. If you want to learn more, I linked to it there at the bottom. That's at ohioprotects.org, and I just sent you straight to the FAQ doc. Like I said, just something that we're kind of keeping an eye on to see if there's anything that we should be mindful of when it comes to schools. And as your local iPartner, I wanted to share with you some new information coming out of Info Ohio, which I think is really slick. At a most recent meeting, they made a very big point of emphasis to talk about how many ebooks are now available on Info Ohio. So I'm talking full blown. I think the total right now is like 300 and some odd books, specifically tagged for professional development. And I know that January is a big month for professional development days. And as you're planning for your spring and your summer and into next fall, there are tons and tons of free resources available to you to use. I grabbed a couple screenshots for you, but it is very simple and easy to navigate over on the Info Ohio platform. If you open this up, you can see all the little filter areas down here on the side. And when it comes to the item type, if you select ebook, and then I do this every single time. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. As you are looking down the side, and you can obviously find which ones you want. As we're looking at the item type here, I just tagged ebook. But the thing that's important here is that these are limitless, right? I'm a person that I use like the Libby app on my phone to take books out of the library, and I'm reading and I'm listening to my audiobooks, and those are limited, right? Like I have to wait in line for my library card to be called. That's not how Info Ohio works. So you can literally have all of your staff members using that same text for a professional development day for free, right? No waiting. It works with your district networking, right? We're already logged into to Info Ohio. So again, just a really, really nice resource that I wanted to make you aware of, again, because we know that they're pumping so many resources into that area. So if there are no other questions, I'll pass it on to my friend Tom.
Thank you, sir. Update, if anyone needs any information, well, Ohio ES, everything seems to be going smooth with the evaluations with the system. I understand, scheduling. And then value added report help. Again, I still have some open dates on my calendar. I think I'm in 13 buildings in the next couple of weeks. So I really do enjoy working with your teachers and kind of getting them to understand what this is telling you. Get away from the punitive piece of value added and have it as being a tool to move forward. I call this the Anna slide. This is my PD update. Unfortunately, they have to cancel the training in green on February 16th for the phys ed teachers, mostly because of new leadership. And this is not the turnaround time was too close for approval. They need now over 3 weeks to approve everything before it gets pushed out. So she had to cancel it even though it was approved. And once the new leadership was in there, so they're working, hopefully we could do something at a later time. And I just threw up there a reminder for Shape America. It's in Cleveland. It is expensive, but there is a host discount. If you're in Ohio, which you guys are, your teachers will get a discount because we're a host state. And there's opportunities to get even more discounts if an educator is attending and wants to volunteer a few hours to help with the conference. All of that is on their website, for that information there. So just quick some updates. Any questions?
You're up here too. We're gonna go sit down. We are ahead of schedule. But we're very proud to talk to you today about the High Impact Conference for Educators. This is really a special announcement. This is like the first time we've publicized this. But two amazing conferences are now becoming one. So we are partnering with the Spark Conference, and it will still be the same name. So we're still going to be the High Impact Conference for Educators, but we are going to kind of absorb the Spark Conference into the fold this year. So thanks to our friends at North Canton, this will be hosted at North Canton High School on June 11th and 12th. And like I said, we are really, really excited about that influx of those educational technology sessions. As a person who's presented at the Spark Conference and who's obviously attended many, many sessions at the Spark Conference, they're not like heavy on product, right? Most of the sessions that occur there are good for every educator. And that's something that we really pride ourselves on, having planned that high impact conference in the past. Is literally anybody in your district, who works with students, there is a session for them at our conference. And bringing those extra, kind of Spark sessions into the fold is really going to enhance that. So we're very, very excited to announce that partnership. We also want to announce that we have a keynote on our first day, and that will be provided by Trevor Reagan. So if you've attended those 18 meetings here this year, you will, have enjoyed Trevor's sessions. And we will welcome him back for an hour-long keynote and then a couple breakout sessions throughout the rest of the conference too. So what we are excited about is, obviously people in this room had the benefit of coming to those 18 sessions, but I mentioned there a moment ago, our conference is for everybody. So that will be the first direct contact that Trevor will have with all of your teaching staff. So we really want to pack that room, pack our conference, and provide opportunities for your teaching staff to hear from him directly as well. And with all of this, again, we are very much ahead of schedule, but we are very happy about that. This is the official opening for that call for proposals. So look for this to come out through email. We're going to target our past presenters as well. If you know anybody in your district that might be interested or that has never presented at a conference before, our conference is wonderful for first timers, right? This is, we always think of it as a local conference. So, for most of our sessions, they're going to be done in regular classrooms with other teachers. So, that kind of barrier for entry is very low. Having been in that classroom spot before, I just thought that I was just doing what I was doing and there wasn't really anything revelatory about it. But everybody's doing something amazing. And so we really want to tap into that and your local experts to see what kind of proposals they might be interested in sharing for our conference.
Every year we get the same feedback. We want to hear from more teachers. It's funny because we're hearing it from a teacher. We're like, well, why don't you do it? They want to hear from each other. Teachers do amazing things and they always say the same thing. I don't do anything special, as Matt said. Everything they do is special. And as soon as you have a teacher in a room with other teachers that don't, they start talking and a 15-minute presentation turns into, oh my goodness, we got to move on to the next session. So really encourage your educators. It's also a way to kind of pump up some of their feelings about what they do. You're reaching out to them like, hey, we like what you do. Why don't you share? You know, or a group of teachers share together. So I think that's a good way to kind of help revitalize some of the things, especially at the end of, I know it's a long school year, but our jobs aren't 9 months and they know it. It's a year-round job. This is a way to kind of refresh and have them be able to do something different. And, you know, maybe it's a good way to go into the summer with a little bit more energy into their step.
Absolutely. And so we also want to highlight what our math friends had mentioned earlier, that as a part of that high impact conference, we are welcoming some national speakers to focus in on those Mathapalooza workshops. So it's, like I said, we are really, really excited about this year. I'm really excited about the things that we have offered. Are there any questions at the moment that we can answer regarding the conference? It's because you haven't thought about the questions, because usually we talk about this in April. So we'll come back to that. All right, we really appreciate you. Like I said, this is going to come out to all of you. It'll come out to our past presenters as well that call. Direct your people to our website, which you can see down there at the bottom too. That's just bit.ly/summer heist. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, to Brian, to Tom, to Eric Kurtz, who is our Spark partner in the conference. But we're really, really excited about this year's opportunity. Right. I think it's you.
Okay. Before I get started, a reminder for anybody who has feedback for the museum, leave it on your table and we'll pick it up and get it to the museum. Our friends online, if you have any feedback for the museum, please send me an email and I will forward it to our friends at the museum.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you at our next ILC meeting, March. I can't believe it. Have a great day. We appreciate you all. Thanks.
Oh my God.
Can I have a request?
Oh. Hilarious.
I just feel like.
He said one No. Dawn,
Right now, we're And you're my, yes. Yes, it's my turn. I just got it.